you're going to make it happen.
Okay.
One way or another.
Okay.
It was no way that I had this on my mind and I was going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my mind, I'm going through with this. In my mind, I'm getting my agency.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I got to do, I'm going to.
You're listening to Shawn Henry's Becoming, a podcast that focuses on the emotional journey of an entrepreneur from the thought of their business to the execution and beyond. I am your host, Shawn Henry, a serial entrepreneur, speaker, real estate investor, landlord, 21-year retired Army veteran, and author of When the Bank Says No. I'm sitting down with entrepreneurs to talk about their processes and the lessons they've learned along the way. Fasten your seatbelts. The journey is rough, but rewarding. Thank you again for joining us on another episode of Shawn Henry's Becoming. We have a treat for you guys today. So today I decided to sit down with an entrepreneur. Not only is she an entrepreneur, but she is a franchisee. Yes, you heard that right, a franchisee. Oh, and by the way, she's 33 years old. So what were you doing at 33? This young lady named Bria Douglass, 2 S's, by the way, 2 S's, okay? Bria Douglass, Allstate franchisee. Welcome, Bria.
Hello. I'm nervous. I feel like people are looking at me, but I know they're not. But hello, everyone.
Hello. So they're not looking at you. They are listening to you. And I know you got a lot to fill us in on. So we're going to get into this. So we always start our podcast with asking everybody, where are you from or where did you grow up?
Okay. I am from Baltimore, Maryland, but let me clarify because I could see where some people are a little bit confused. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. My mother moved us down here. I was about 10.
And when you say down here, that's Atlanta?
Yes, okay. Down to Atlanta. It was right after the Olympics, so 1996. And then we moved back to Baltimore 01, 02. So then I was there for probably about 17 years back home in Baltimore, and I moved back to Atlanta 2 years ago.
Okay. So 17 years of your life is a long time, and you got the Baltimore accent. So we gonna say you from Baltimore. For sure. Okay. Absolutely. Everybody from Baltimore can recognize that accent. Is Baltimore or the Maryland area?
No. Baltimore, Maryland is a city and state of its own.
Okay.
Everybody likes to lump us with the DMV.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say distinct accents. So it's Baltimore, New Yorkers have their accent, mm-hmm. Boston have their accent.
New Orleans.
So it's those ones that's like everybody knows definitely where are you from. All right, do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 2 older sisters.
Okay, so you're the youngest.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so that helps us to understand the big personality.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I would go with that.
Okay.
Although I never cried out for attention because they're so much older than me. So it's like growing up. Well, one was from New York and one actually lived in the household. But with me growing up, she wasn't in the house as much because by the time I was like in the 4th grade, she was already in college.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So it's a big... So my sister and I are 11 years apart. So I can understand that.
Yeah, my one sister, we're probably about 16 years apart. Mm-hmm. And then my other sister, we're about 13 years apart.
Okay, so around the same. So I can understand that. Did you grow up in an entrepreneurial household?
I did not because my dad wasn't in the house, mm-hmm. but then I did because he was still around. Mm-hmm. My dad has been an entrepreneur my entire life. Before I was born, he actually owned a bar, which probably ties into me being a bartender. We'll talk about that later. Mm-hmm. And he's always had his own business. He is a mortician and a funeral director. So I've only known him to do that my entire life. He's only had one profession ever, and he's been doing that. I'm 33. He's been doing it longer than that.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you grew up with entrepreneurial influence then with your dad.
Yes.
Okay. Did you play around in the funeral home or anything like
I did. Okay. I actually worked for him through high school and college. I worked for him. He wanted me to go and get my license. I actually transferred to Catonsville from Coppin. I wasn't even there a whole semester. I was like, this is not for me, and I left.
Okay, so what wasn't about the funeral business that wasn't sexy?
It wasn't my passion. Okay. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. I felt like it was something he just wanted me to do. However, it didn't bother me because they don't talk. So I didn't have to deal with them bothering me. So
when they start talking, you run.
Right.
Okay.
So actually it was a very peaceful profession.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Being in a funeral home, believe it or not, can be very peaceful.
Okay.
So it did not bother me. It just wasn't something I wanted to do.
So what was your job or duties in the funeral home?
I was his receptionist.
Okay.
And when he would go out of town, I would direct funerals for him.
Okay.
So, or if he had multiple funerals during one day. So okay. He would be at one and I would be in the other.
Okay, so take us through directing a funeral.
Okay, first thing is I would meet him at the funeral home. I would go to the family's home because that's normally where we pick them up from. Mm-hmm. Escort them to the church. Escort the person, whoever is in charge, into the church. Make sure everybody is seated where they're supposed to be. Assist with his employees, making sure everybody's in place, making sure all the flowers are in place, making sure the body is in place.
So almost like an event coordinator.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, because the funeral is an event.
It
so
is
yes.
an event.
It's your last one. It is an event. So yeah, so basically that's what I'm doing. And okay. I'm doing that all the way up until the cemetery. All the way up until we get to the cemetery that I'm playing the lead position.
Okay. I don't do well with dead people, so that definitely couldn't be. And crying, I would be snotting too. So go for it. All right. Okay, so your current business, you are, as I mentioned in your intro, you are an Allstate insurance agent franchisee.
Yes, I am.
Is it agency or agent or how?
I am an agent.
Okay.
I own an agency.
Huh. Okay. Let's be corrected. Okay. So Allstate insurance agency and you're Allstate insurance agent.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I actually work in my agency.
You work in your agency. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I am very, very curious to know how that process goes. So how did you go from funeral home to insurance? This kind of goes hand in hand though.
Well, it definitely goes hand in hand.
Okay.
Because I do sell life insurance, but we'll get to that later. The process of it's really not as long as people think, but it is tedious. Okay, no. How do you go from deciding you don't want to do funeral home or funeral director to deciding you want to do insurance? Okay. Well, it's been a lot of stuff in between. Okay. So let's we're going to go through that. Go through the timeline. But don't elaborate on each one. Okay. So we went from funeral home to what? We went from funeral home to credit consolidation. I didn't do that long. Mm-hmm. To school financial aid. I didn't do that long. The reason why I didn't do these things long is I kept getting fired. So I knew I had to get a business. Okay, so potential entrepreneurs, if you're thinking about you need to have a business, or it's hard for you to work for other people, or you keep getting fired because of different things, that being your own boss may be the move. Why did you continue to get fired? What was the reason? With the financial aid, they wanted you to be on the phone all day. And they want you to be in the queues, like, on time. Mm-hmm. I'm going to lunch. And I don't know what time I might be back. And if you're like a minute late, they want to write you up. So a couple of write-ups lead to a termination. So
and at this point, how old were you?
Sean, I don't know. I probably was knocking on 30.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was really hoping you were going to say like 19 or 20.
I probably was knocking on 30.
So you don't expect your employees to be on time?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
if you're not on time in here, it's going to be a problem. But... and girl, they were just running it like we were slaves. So anyway, I got fired from there. So then the credit consolidation, they said they hired too many people. They let me go. Mm-hmm. So that was that. But the crazy part about it is in between there, I had applied to another insurance company. I'm not going to say the name, but I had applied there for a customer service position. And I thought I was going to get it, and the lady pretty much played me. So I didn't get it, but I would love to find her now.
So why do you feel like she played you?
Oh, because she really made it seem like it was a strong possibility that I was going to get the job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my mind, I was like, okay, well, this is a reputable insurance company. Mm-hmm. If I can just get my foot in the door and start customer service, then I probably could actually be like a licensed sales professional. Mm-hmm. She kept saying, call her back. Then I would call her back. She wouldn't answer. Then eventually she sent me an email telling me that I didn't get the job.
Okay. Well, I'm sure people go through that throughout their careers too. And then that lets them know, again, is pushing them towards being an entrepreneur. So the cards are already laid and we just have to pick them up when they fall. So clearly you bounce back.
Clearly.
Okay, absolutely. Because your name is on the door under Allstate. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, so then from that almost position in that particular insurance company, where did you go from there?
From there, I just went back to bartending.
Okay.
Which I had been doing for about 10 years.
So how did you get into bartending?
I got my license when I was 17. Okay. I was in college and I told my mom and dad, I was like, I want to get my bartender's license. So my dad was all for it because he had owned a bar before. He was like, you can make pretty good money. And my mom was like, okay, whatever. So they went half and got, put me through bartending school. And I was working at a chiropractor's office before I started bartending. Girl, I got fired from there too. But anyway, so once I got fired, I was like, I need some money. I was like, I have my bartender's license. Let me try to find a bartending job. So I was, hitting the pavement, and I don't know if Craigslist was out back then, but I was looking for a bartending job. And I remember speaking to the recruiter at the bartending school, and she said, you would do well at a strip club. And I said, you think so? I said, but I'm not like thick and all. And she was like, no, go to the strip club. You'll do well. So I end up going down to the strip club. For those of you that are from Baltimore that are listening, I started at 2 o'clock club. And back when I started, 2 o'clock was the place to be. It was hot. It was hard to even get in the door. So the manager at the time, Terry, was like, well, our bartender positions are filled, but if you start off as a waitress, maybe something will open up. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it because I need the money. So the waitressing money was good. I would leave just with maybe $200, $250. Just taking drinks. So I was like, okay, this is good. Somebody ended up calling out. So that's how I got behind the bar. Okay,
one of the bartenders.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the bartenders called out. They asked me, did I want to bartend? I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Baby, when I saw the money I could make from bartending, I was done with waitressing. So I just always hope somebody would call out. I was like, please let somebody call out. Please let somebody call out. And then eventually I just got on the schedule.
Okay.
So, yes.
So every time you were back there was because somebody called out?
At first it was.
Okay. And then you did well with the bartending?
Yes.
Okay.
I did well because every time somebody did call out, I would take their shift. Okay. We had started being open during the day, and nobody wanted to work during the day. Okay. I'll take it. Mm-hmm. So I started to become reliable, and I was consistent with it. So that locked my days in.
Yeah. So okay, so I like the bartending story because it lets us know that, especially as an entrepreneur, you go through things, you go through different jobs, and you're not really a good fit, and it shows. You don't really want to be there. You're not passionate about it. So, you have a very lively personality. So being behind a desk, in front of a computer, behind a phone, not really dealing with the public, don't really seem like you. So then the bartending job, you're able to interact with people, and it's a different type of clientele that goes to strip clubs. A lot of meetings happen, business meetings happen in the strip club. So you have a variety of people, and you're able to mix and mingle with all of them. All right. So you were never late to that, clearly.
No.
And you didn't care about your lunchtime?
No, because I would get down there about 9:00, and we would close at 2:00. So I might get out about 3. No lunch breaks.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay. So it was a motivation factor.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's definitely good. Okay. So then because we backtrack. So what was the job you had right before Allstate?
Bartending.
Okay, so you went back to bartending.
Yes, I went back to bartending before I moved to Georgia.
Okay. And you got here a couple of years ago. So, hi, this is Shawn Henry from ShunHenry'sBecoming. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple, Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no listenership. It's everything you need to make in a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So what made you decide you wanted to be an Allstate franchisee?
I was sitting in the office, and let me tell you how I got to Allstate. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine, Avonda, and she also has a Allstate agency now as well. Mm-hmm. She told me she was at Allstate, and she told me to come. Mm-hmm. She said, "You need a job, and if you don't like it, quit. If you like it, stay." I'm like, well, I do need a job because my money is running low. Mm-hmm. So I went in for the interview with the agency owner. Young, African-American woman. She might be a year younger than me.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody in the office was young.
Wow.
So I'm going to be honest with you. You have to see stuff like that to know that you can do it.
Exactly. That was the main purpose that I mentioned how old you are. Because on none of my podcasts have I... the last one, okay, it might not be the last one when we do this, but the episode with Chester Smith, mm-hmm. I asked him to give the timeline of the start of his entrepreneur journey, because he started in middle school. And you could see the drive, and you can see. So it's basically this podcast is to show people, give them a representation of somebody that looks like them, that sounds like them, that acts like them. Because a lot of times we don't know what these thoughts are, and we think we're the only person that's doing it. Right. So like you said, representation matters. So you walk into this agency, and the young lady, the owner, is younger than you, and her staff is all young.
Yes, mm-hmm. Everybody's young, everybody's black, and the agency is in Buckhead.
Oh, so Buckhead, Georgia.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, this might be okay. Did the interview. I kind of was like, whatever. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Mm-hmm. So my girlfriend texted me like, you got it. Can you start on Monday? I'm like, do I really even want to start? Because I'm like, I'm down here, and again, I know I need money, but is that really where I want to be? I haven't figured things out yet. So I'm like, okay, tell her I'll be there. So I go in. I'm telling you, I just got thrown in there. But I started off customer service. I did not start off as a LSP, which is a licensed sales producer. I started off customer service. So I'm answering phones, servicing policies, all of those things. She let me know that if I was interested in getting my license, I could. She'd help me with that. And then I could also make more money. And so I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do it. Started studying for the test. Made my appointment to take the test and everything. Now, I did not pass the test the very first time. So as I'm continuing to study for it, I'm saying to myself, like, okay, so once I pass it, I'm going to be making more money, but I'm not going to be making the money that I want to be making.
And what test was this?
This was property and casualty. Okay. So, I hadn't had my life and health yet. So from there, I'm studying. I take the test. I pass it. But I'm saying to myself, because I'm seeing her and I've seen other agency owners that look like me. They might not be as young as I am, but they look like me. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. Maybe I can get my foot in the door. So I contact Allstate while I'm working.
Corporate?
Yes.
Okay.
I contact corporate. I go outside. Because, you don't want everybody to get business. But when you come in here to work, don't be going outside. So I go outside. I contact them. They're like, okay, well, we're going to hook you up with a recruiter and we'll be in touch.
So wait, what is the conversation? What do you say to Allstate when you call them?
I call them and I say I'm interested in learning a little bit more about the agency owner opportunities. Okay. So they got a recruiter to me very fast. So I'm talking to the recruiter. The recruiter said, well, are you currently with Allstate? I said, yes, I'm actually at somebody's agency. And so he asked me who. I told him that this is the thing with Allstate. It is small. When you're talking about the higher positions, it's small. So he knew where I was. He said, I will only sit down and talk to you if you let the agency owner know that this is what you're interested in, because I don't want her to think that I'm trying to steal you. I said, okay, I'll tell her. I didn't think she was going to be mad about it. And when I told her, she actually wasn't. She encouraged it. She was like, well, I know you already, you contacted them and they hooked you up with a recruiter, but I want you to go through my guy because he's really going to help you.
Oh, that's good. So that dispels the myth of Black women don't help each other.
Yes, it does.
Because here is a woman that's already in position. She already has her agency. She hired you, and she sees the ambition. She sees the go-getterness. She sees, okay, this woman wants her own. So instead of her doing something to hold you back, she not only gave you her blessing, but said, hold on, I got a guy that's truly going to help you get in the door.
Yes, she did. And for that, I'm forever grateful, because I'm going to be honest with you. The opportunity that has presented itself here in Atlanta, it probably would not have presented itself in Baltimore due to the fact it's more people down here that look like us, that are in the higher positions. So we're all willing to help each other. So I did get with her recruiter, and I had already met him because he had been in and out the office. So he was very familiar with me, and I was familiar with him, so it made the situation comfortable. He told me all the things that I needed in order for me to even be considered to start the process.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about that?
So basically, your credit has to be in order.
What does that mean exactly?
Your credit score has to be in order. You cannot have filed bankruptcy in the last 7 years.
So what is it? What's the average credit score you need to have?
The average credit score is about a 680. Okay,
so similar to being able to purchase a house at a good interest rate.
Yes.
Okay, so here we go again with the credit. We're hearing a lot about credit just in general conversation. So this lets you know that you need to be up and up with your credit, making sure your credit is good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so your credit score is 680 or better. No bankruptcies.
No bankruptcies in the last 7 years.
Okay.
They will not even consider you.
So that lets them know with a pretty decent credit score and above average credit score and no bankruptcies, that lets them know that you're financially responsible.
Right. Okay. Nothing in collections.
Okay.
What else? Oh, you cannot have a criminal background.
Okay.
At all, because you're talking about state licenses. You're talking about dealing with people's financials. You cannot have a background.
So you, your career path with all your jobs, bartending seemed to have kind of been like, the monkey wrench in the situation as far as the type of jobs that you've had, but all of them kind of led you into this path because you talked about, being able to step in when your father wasn't there at the funeral home, so you're directing and managing people. Then even though the other jobs didn't really pan out, they were still financial type jobs. And then even when you got into bartending, you still had to be personable, so you got your customer service skills in there. All right.
And then the credit consolidation. So with the credit score, I had just got my credit pulled because I had just bought a car. My credit was not where it needed to be at that point.
Because your credit does go down when you get an inquiry.
Yes. And I got multiple inquiries because I was applying for different cars, different places. I did not know Atlanta like that. So I didn't know where to go right off. So my credit score had gone down. So while I'm at work, again, I'm printing out my dispute letters and getting my stuff in order. Don't do that when you come into work in my agency. I'm just saying.
Okay, so this is a disclaimer, guys.
If I catch you, it will be an issue.
So so make sure you read her employee handbook thoroughly. But even though Bria Douglass is an amazing person, she is definitely the pot that calls the kettle black, for sure. So you guys will be seeing that in the future. We got some business collabs going on pertaining to that line. However, when you pay the cost to be the boss and your name is on the door, your culture and your climate of your office is what you choose it to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. So I was printing out my dispute letters. Girl, that process is so tedious. So I'm printing out all this because this stuff has got to come off. I got to mail this stuff, certified mail. I'm not making a whole lot of money, but the what money I have, I'm using it to mail it and get it off my credit report. So I end up getting everything off my credit report.
So wait, you did this by yourself?
I did it by myself. Okay. So that's how I know it can be done.
But people pay for convenience. So if someone else is going to do it for me, like you said, the process is very tedious. And then you're doing everything certified mail, which, by the way, you don't have to do it certified mail.
And that's the thing. I was told... Because, you hear different things from different people. I was told it had to be certified mail. So that's why I did it. On top of, yes, it is very time consuming. I don't have the time now. Back then, I'm sitting at somebody else's establishment for 8 hours. I got nothing but time.
It's a different type of time. So entrepreneurs, we cater to entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs know that we burn the candle on both ends of the stick. But when you are an employee at someone else's job, you will find time for your personal things. So or just to kill time. Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're doing to kill the time. But when you're an entrepreneur, you hardly have the time because your focus is different.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Right. All right. So you cleaned up your own credit.
I cleaned up my own credit. I did have something on my record, which again ties into my profession. It was back home driving without insurance.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I didn't.
On what record?
Your
on
my back. Yeah, on my background. Like I had to go to court and everything for it.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I had to get a friend of mine went to the courthouse and he got the deposition for me, so I could submit it saying that it was dismissed, so I would be able to move forward with the process. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
So so let me ask you, at the time that you started the process for your franchise, you had already paid all the fines and fees or whatever.
Yeah, that had been before I left Baltimore.
So that stuff stays on your record.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, until you do something.
Until I just had to show that it was closed. It was closed out, and it wasn't a felony.
Okay,
it wasn't. Okay,
because you took care of it.
Right.
So although you were irresponsible and I mean, we keep it all the way 100.
Yeah, I was real, but on the flip side, money was a little tight. So I knew, but I was like, I would get to it.
Okay.
I was driving in the wrong area, and I got pulled over. They ran my tags. They saw I didn't have insurance, and that's how that happened. But all of that has led to this.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, right, because we do, I mean, everybody has done something crazy in their journey as they grow into adulthood. And yeah, insurance as a young person, on your own, when you first become an adult, you trying to figure out what's the importance of this. Why am I paying this every month for just in case?
Right.
However, if just in case happens and you don't have insurance, that can be an issue.
Exactly.
So this goes to show you can have your ticket, be responsible, take care of the ticket, and then you're still able to move on with your life.
Yes.
So at this point, you went ahead and got it, showed the letter that it was, you took care of it.
Yes.
All right. So we got our credit. We took care of our credit. Now let me ask you, how long did it take from your credit to go from not able for them to accept you to acceptable?
It didn't take long at all. It probably took about 60 days.
Really?
It probably took about 60 days.
All right, so you hear that, guys? You can do your own credit. It is tedious, but once you stay on it, you can get your credit increase within 60 days. Some people may dispute that and say it can happen less than that. But for Bria, it was about 60 days. All right, so then you fixed your credit, you got your insurance taken care of. What was the next step?
Between then and whenever, I was to get accepted into being able to open an Allstate, I would have to get my life and health. So I was also studying for that.
So that's a certificate?
That is a license.
A license, okay. So at this point, you got it. What was the other license?
I had my property and casualty.
The property and casualty. You took that test twice.
Yes.
So with the life and health, that's another license.
That's a whole nother license.
Okay. How was that test?
It's actually easier than the property and casualty, but it's just as many questions. You still have to study hard for it. On top of the process, also you have to show funds.
Okay.
You have to have funds.
Okay.
Allstate does not match you. They don't front you.
So what do you mean match you?
Like if you come to the table, some franchises, if you come to the table with a certain amount of money, they might match what you have.
So if I have $50,000 and I want to open up a franchise, and so another franchise or another company that is franchising would say, okay, here's $50,000 to match yours.
Possibly.
Okay.
Yes. Depending on what you're trying to open.
Right.
Or some franchises might just want to know that you have serious interest in actually opening it. So they're willing to put their money up. But when you have franchises like that, you don't own them 100%.
Okay. Okay, so when you say they're willing to put their money up, so there's different things that you have to do to show them that you are serious about opening your business, and then you have to put your money. They'll say, "Oh, okay, Bria, we see that you've taken all the tests, you've jumped through all these hoops. So here we'll loan you." Would it be a loan per se?
Well, it's not really a loan. Well, kind of, because at the end of the day, all the money that they have put up, they're going to get it on the back end. Okay. They're going to get their money back.
So we'll give you an advance.
Right. Okay. They'll get their money back for that on the back end, and then they're collecting royalties from you.
Okay. So other agents, or not agencies, other franchises will possibly give you an advance. So Allstate doesn't give you an advance, nor do they match your deposit.
No. Okay. They want to know that you are 100% serious by going into this, so you have to use your money.
Okay. We won't disclose how much, but it was 6 figures.
Yes.
Okay. So you had to come up with 6 figures, okay, at 33 years old. 33
years old before I can even step foot into step 1 of the process. Okay. They want to verify funds.
So similar to buying a house, if you buying a house cash, for our flippers out there, or for those who just want to go into real estate, purchasing a house, you have to show proof of funds, is what they call it. Yes. So you had to show Allstate that you had 6 figures in your bank account.
6 figures.
So most people, I mean 33. Let me think what I was doing at 33. Didn't have 6 figures. So most people would be like, you know what? Listen, I took the test. I took the first set of tests. I took the second set of tests. I'm jumping through all these hoops. Now you want me to have 6 figures in my bank account, and I'm 33 years old. Like, what are we doing here? This is crazy. Okay, so that again shows the heart of an entrepreneur. We are can-do people. Like, we just make it happen.
You're gonna make it happen.
Okay.
One way or another.
Okay.
It was no way that I had this on my mind and I was gonna stop. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna figure it out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't have a choice. Mm-hmm. Because in my mind, I'm going through with this. In my mind, I'm getting my agency. Mm-hmm. So whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna do it.
Because there's no going back.
No. Yeah. Because I had stopped working in the other agency owner's office. Mm-hmm. I was working, but she was allowing me to work from home. Okay. She said because that's what she had done. Okay. So she said, you can work from home, take the computer, work from home. Of course, I had to get my own leads, so I wasn't in the office getting leads. So
explain leads.
Leads are potential customers. Mm-hmm. So everything just fell into place because she was able to get her non-residence license from Maryland at that time. So okay.
So, hold on. So a non-residence license means the agent does not live in a state, but they can service that state with write policies for that state. Okay.
They can write policies from that state. Mm-hmm. So she had a non-residence license from Maryland. I'm from Baltimore. I know people. That's how I was able to get my own leads.
Okay. So hold on. So she had a non-residence. So you basically prospected the people that lived in Maryland and gave them to her. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, that's what I was doing for probably the first 2 months after I left. Mm-hmm. That's how I was making money on the side. And then I was taking bartending jobs. Mm-hmm. Down here, I was doing some corporate bartending that I got in through a temp agency. And then I joined this bartending group. Somebody put me in it. Mm-hmm. And
on like Facebook or?
It's a group me.
Okay.
And they would send jobs through every day, all day. Mm-hmm. And if I was available and it was close, because Georgia's so big and spread out. So if it was close, I would take it. Mm-hmm. Because I'm gonna need a lot of money.
Right.
I'm gonna need
right.
a lot of money.
Right.
So that's how I was able kind of to staying afloat while I'm going through this process. She did ask me to come back into the office. I did not go back into the office just due to the fact I wanted to be 100% focused on what I was trying to do, because I knew it was going to be times I had meetings during the day. It was going to be times I had to go look at properties. I got to figure out what I'm going to put in this office. I got interviews to do. And I mean, I had done enough at her agency. I couldn't leave to go do those things.
Okay. So when you saying look at properties, you're saying for your agency.
Yes.
Okay. So that makes sense that you, even though you used her paper, her ink, her time for the interview, her computer, you were respectful enough at this point of the process to say, okay, I can't commit to you 100% because this is the journey that I'm on now. Right. And I'm sure she understood.
And she completely understood.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's says something too about, again, her character. She was already willing to help you, and give you somebody that would help you even further. And then she asked you to come in. And she could have been doing that to see how serious you really were about you.
She could have been.
So when you decline, it's like, she's serious. Yeah. So that's good.
It really is. Like I said, I have nothing bad to say about her because she really did encourage me to move forward with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We should call her up and go have drinks, because listen, people don't do that. People don't do that. So that's good, because now you have the opportunity to pay it forward. Yes. Okay, great. Yes, okay, absolutely. Okay, good. Because it sounded like that's what she was doing, because you said somebody did something for her.
Yeah, I mean, she had gone through the exact same process that I was going through. So she knew, the things that you need to have. And she told me about where I could get funded. Okay. People do not go above and beyond for people. And when they talk about pouring into somebody, that's pouring into them.
It really is.
That is what pouring into someone is, because she didn't have to give me anything. She just could have said, oh, okay, well, you're looking at being an agency owner. Don't worry about coming in anymore. Because it's happened. Okay, well, you're going to leave anyway. I'm going to lose an employee, so you might as well go and do, go on your own separate way. And that wasn't the case.
When the bank says no, Airbnb hosting without owning the property. Read how one woman took a bank's rejection for financing and turned it into a lucrative Airbnb business without owning the property. Shun shares her step-by-step process from picking her niche market to furniture purchases, all which led her to achieving superhost status in her first 30 days of hosting with Airbnb. Learn how she made almost $20,000 in less than 7 months while still maintaining her full-time job. New hosts are often unsure of what they need to do, making Airbnb harder than it has to be. Follow her story of determination and perseverance and learn how you can implement her practices in any of your entrepreneurial endeavors. Go to www.ShunHenry.com. That's www.ShunHenry to order your copy of When the Bank Says No, Airbnb hosting without owning the property. Okay. So then you were looking for properties, you had to interview people, now you got staff, and then
Well, before I can even get to any of that, it's like a 3-part process.
Okay, explain that process.
Okay, so now we're in pre-national, so I'm going to the headquarters for a week, and I'm sitting in a classroom, and that's where you kind of get to know people in the state. The Southeast region, let me say that. The Southeast region that are looking to be agency owners. Now, again, I'm in this class, and I'm the youngest, and I know they sitting in there wondering, how the hell did I even get in this class? Because although I'm 33, I look much younger. I'm in the class also with married couples. So, things tend to be a lot easier when you're married. So they probably have pulled their funds together. They in there. Everybody in there is on their second career. Some people are in there that know nothing about insurance. So I kind of feel like I have a leg up because I do know a little something about insurance.
Okay, let me add something too, because you just made me remember when you said there were couples and you were doing this by yourself. You're also a teenage mom.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so those are a whole lot of other obstacles. You had your daughter young in your teenage life, and then so these are all obstacles. Everything that you talked about, or a lot of the things that you talked about, have been obstacles that you overcame. So it wasn't like, oh, woe is me, I had a daughter young. Woe is me, I got fired from this job, then got fired from the next job, and then got fired from the next job. And then when you found Allstate, the second time, okay, it was 2 times around, and they said, oh, remember back in the day when you got this ticket for no insurance? How are you gonna be an insurance agent and you got a ticket for no insurance?
I know.
That still was a hurdle that you could have at any point. These red lights, not even yellow, these red lights, you could have been like, okay, this isn't for me. Let me go find something to do. Let me go work at somebody. But you weren't even good at working at somebody else's job.
No.
So it was like, it was never a pity party for Bria and the life challenges or life decisions that you've made.
No. At no point could I sit around and be like, well, why me? Why I'm going through all this? Why I gotta work hard? Why I gotta, I had, moving to Atlanta has humbled me so much. So at some point, because, I done pulled my daughter away from everything she knows. She's a junior in high school at this point. I gotta make something happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's no way I can sit around and be like, well, I could possibly do this. Or I gotta make some moves.
Yeah.
I came down here. I need to make some moves. It was a million times I thought about, well, maybe I should just go back home. Because I'm down here and I'm really winging it. And I feel like I'm too old to be winging it. Okay. Like, I need a plan. I'm older. She's getting older. We're talking about junior year. So if you have kids, junior year is prom. They have activities. All of this stuff costs money. You know what I mean? I have to be able to provide. I can't tell her, oh, I don't have it. That's not going to fly. That's not going to fly with her because she's used to me having it. So I can't tell her I don't have it. I have to figure out a way to get it. So when you moved down here, your daughter was a junior in high school? Yes.
Okay.
I had the conversation with her. She had came down that summer and stayed the summer with her godmother. And I came down here to get her. And I said, well, okay, how would you feel about us moving back to Atlanta? Now, she was actually born here, but she does not remember. She doesn't know anything about it. So she said, well, I don't want to move. But if it's going to make you happy and it's going to give us a better life, I'm all for it.
Oh, wow.
How many teenagers are going to really tell their parents that? Yeah. They do not want to leave their friends. They don't want to leave what they knew. That's how I know she's like my real ride or die. Because she was like, okay, I'll do it. Whatever. So, we come down here and, it was just so many obstacles because it was hard getting her in school. I'm actually living in Atlanta, but I got to get her to a Cobb County school. It was just a lot going on. Then trying to get to Buckhead and, Georgia's traffic is not the best. So it was just a lot going on. And like, we getting up like 5:30 in the morning. I got to figure something out. Like, I have to. So when they told me that I actually could move forward into the first phase, I'm like, okay, it still hadn't hit me yet that I could possibly have my own business. So I'm in pre-national, like I said. A lot of these people are older. On top of this is a white male dominated industry. Mm-hmm. Okay. Not only is it, it's a couple married black couples, not that many at all.
They're sprinkled in there.
Mm-hmm. Very far few in between. Mm-hmm. So I go through the first stage of it. I'm like, okay, it's okay. They give me my dates for Chicago, but they let me know that's where the headquarters is located in Chicago.
So are you taking is training?
Yes. Okay. So this is training. They're giving me, my agency handbook and, certain things that we can do to when interviewing potential employees and stuff like that. It's only for a week because that really determines if you're going to do it or not. Okay. And some people don't make it past that first stage.
So is it like Hell Week, like for football players?
It's not Hell Week. It's just some people might go into it and just be like, this is just not for me. Because especially if you know nothing about insurance, it is very overwhelming because you have to learn a lot in a short amount of time. Okay.
And does it cost? Does that part of it cost?
No. Okay. None of this training costs at this point. Okay. So that's a week. I'm doing that.
Wait, before you go even into that week, you had to show the six figures?
Yes. Oh, you can't even get into the classroom.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because they don't want to waste. They don't want their time wasted. Okay. If that was the case, everybody be coming in. Okay. So I'm in there. They give me my dates to go to Chicago, but the only way you can get to Chicago is if you take your life and health test and you pass. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you cannot go. So I'm studying for my test. Girl, I'm staying up all night long, studying, doing the simulated exams and the simulated test, which is like 100 questions. Mind you, you still don't know that this stuff is going to be on there or not. I take it the first time. I did not pass it. The second time, I've already bought my plane ticket to go to Chicago. I'm like, I'm going to Chicago. I don't know about nobody else, but I'm going. I'm set to leave Sunday morning. I scheduled my test because you have to wait like a week, 2 weeks after you take it the first time. Now, let me also remind you, both times that I took my both my property and casualty and my life and health test, I failed by 2 points.
Oh wow!
So I'm upset because I can handle it if I had failed by a landslide, but I literally failed by 2 points. So and I'm like, well, what question? Like I'm studying this every time it was 2 points.
Oh wow!
So I'm like, this last time I go to take this test, but in my mind I'm passing this test because I'm going to Chicago. I got this expensive ass plane ticket that I done paid for
from Atlanta to Chicago.
Yes,
right?
Because I bought it last minute. I'm going to Chicago. I go in there and take my test, and I pass. I go home, pack my stuff. Next morning, I'm going to Chicago.
That determination all over again.
Yep. I said, because I'm going. I said, I'm going. I said, I'm going to Chicago. Like, it's no way around it. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when I get up there and they find out I ain't passed this test. But I'm going.
Right. We going to go and see.
Yeah. I'm going. My hotel room is booked. I'm going. I passed it, went home, packed my stuff. That very next day, Kay, which is my daughter, and my mother took me to the airport.
Okay, so you get to Chicago. So
I get to Chicago.
Is this phase 2?
This is phase 2. Okay. So I get to Chicago. Girl, I get off the plane. I'm feeling like Kanye West in Chicago. So I'm playing his music as I get off the plane. I'm feeling like Rocky running up the steps.
Right.
I'm feeling real good.
Because that adrenaline still
going. It's like I'm here. So the few people that knew that I was going, like my best friend and my mother and everything, they, texted me like, did you land? You okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So I get up there. I'm get settled. Next day is training. Training is all day for 7 or 8 days. 8 o'clock in the morning till 5:30 in the evening. But even after that, you're still not done because they want you to go to all these different expos and take pictures. And so this is a full day.
So they don't pay for the classes, but you have, you don't pay for the classes, but you have to pay for your flight and room and board.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now,
for a week.
Yes, for a week.
Okay.
And you have to stay in this hotel. I was like, because I was like, well, I'm going to try to find an Airbnb. No. You have to stay in this hotel because they want you to mingle. So
that's good.
Yeah, it is. Because I've met agency owners from different states and we still keep in contact.
Okay, now are you able to use any of the 6 figures that you still have in your bank account?
Yes.
Okay, so at this point you're able to use.
Yes.
Okay.
You are able to. You're always able to use the money. It's just that coming in, they want to know that you have the money.
Okay. So at this point, you're able to use some of those funds.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, again, they're not fronting you any money, so you're paying for even as far as your meals. Although you're staying up there, only thing they provided was breakfast. You have to pay for everything else. So this is a $2,000 plus trip. Okay. So I'm up there. I'm meeting other agency owners in different cities and states. It was 5 of us there. And when I say 5 of us, I mean 5 black people.
5 black people.
5 black people out of maybe 50.
And out of those 5 black people, how many were women?
3.
Okay.
And that's including myself.
Okay, so we were the majority.
Yeah.
Okay, so black women.
We were the majority.
Okay. But 5 black people.
5 black people. 2 black men. 4 of us in Georgia.
Oh, wow.
4 of us in Georgia.
Okay.
1 in Chicago.
Wow. Okay, so Georgia was represented.
Oh, Georgia was representing heavy.
Okay.
And you would have thought that we all knew each other. Like outside of this. This is my first time meeting them. We did not know each other at all. But, when we tend to see people that look like us, we gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
So we're like a little clique. So, but then we were like, we can't kind of look like a clique. We gotta mingle amongst everybody else. But yes, Georgia was heavily represented. So when they say that entrepreneurial opportunities are here, oh yes, it definitely is. I've never seen so many black people flourish the way they are here.
Yeah.
So I'm there for a week. I'm learning the agency owner aspect of it, how to run a business, what processes to implement for your employees, what you should be looking for in employees, certain things that are going to help you within your agency, different, going over our business plan. That was another thing. I had to write a full business plan for this. So this is not your average everyday business that you just, I think I'm just going to open it. No, it's not. I actually went in and revised my business plan because after listening to so many others, I wasn't doing enough. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You spending how much on? Okay, let me up.
Yeah, I hate business plans. Like that I've been in the on an entrepreneurial journey for a lot of years, and I tried writing a business plan one time, and my whole thing is, I like structure, but I don't like structure. It's a certain type of structure that I like, and I feel like when you write stuff. Let me say this a different way, because I was going to say when you write stuff down, but when you have a business plan for me meant restriction. Okay. Like it wasn't a fluid or flexible document. To me, it was, I'm writing this down. So this is going to happen this way. And in my mind, I wasn't giving it room for, okay, well, that may not work. You could do it this way. So to me, as long as my business plan is in my mind, then I can move the way that I want to move. I don't feel like I am held to something. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Okay, because I know, and then it's like, okay, well, if somebody wants to, if you want a loan from the bank, you got to have a business plan.
You have to have it, because I went to several different several different banks, and they wanted to see my business plan. But I was familiar with writing business plans because I did it in college. I wrote business plans and marketing plans. I've actually written business plans for other people.
What was your major in college?
Business management. Okay. My concentration was in marketing.
Okay.
So I was familiar with it. Business plans don't bother me. They don't scare me. Just, okay, I know I have to have this. So once we were up there, and I'm hearing other people going over theirs, so now I'm revising mine. So, every day was just learning different things, but from a business owner perspective, not as an employee. Like when I was at pre-national, that was like employee type stuff. This is like, you're the business owner. This is what you need to do. This is how you're going to be successful. So I was there for about a week. I come home. Now I have a 2-week break to set up my business. While I'm up there, I actually signed my lease for my space because I wasn't here. We had already come and look at it. We came and looked at it. And it was a little bit more than what I wanted because my first space actually fell through on me.
You're saying a little bit more as far as the money?
Yes, okay. As far as the rent that I wanted to pay. Because when you're starting off with a business, you don't want your expenses to be really high because you don't know how much money you're going to be making. So it was a little bit higher than what I wanted, but it was a nice space. It was a comfortable space. And I was tired of looking at a whole bunch of different spaces. Then I got to make sure I'm a certain amount of miles from another person, from another Allstate.
So that's a requirement too?
Yes, you have to be at least a mile apart from another one. And the first space was cheaper, but I think someone offered them more money and they ended up getting that one. So it fell through on me last minute. My broker was like, well, I got another one to show you, and it's a nice area. You might like it. So we came over here right before I went to Chicago, and I looked at it. He sent me my lease while I was in Chicago, and he was like, don't worry about the money because I know you out of town. When you get back, just pay for it then. So I came home. I did that. This is in 2 weeks because I'm set to open next month, so I gotta move. I'm still interviewing. I'm ordering all my furniture, everything, so I can.
Wait, you're interviewing
employees
remotely?
Some of them I did.
Okay, wow.
Some of them I did.
Okay.
I did the phone interviews while I'm in Chicago because they let you step out for business. So they say as long as it's business related, go ahead and step out.
Okay, so where were you getting your employees?
Allstate recruitment.
Okay, so Allstate is also giving you an employee funnel.
They are. They're sending me people to interview. In addition, there is this thing called Ideal Traits. So I'm getting resumes off of there as well. So, okay,
so they may not help you with funding, but it seems like they help you with so much more. Like they help you get your employees. They give you the training. Well, I guess if it's a franchise, they want you to be trained by them, how they want their brand to run. Okay. So you were step out and you were doing those interviews.
I was pretty much taking care of getting a whole business together 500 plus miles away.
But again, lets you know.
And it had to be done.
Absolutely.
It had to be done. So it's like, it's no way around it.
That's what entrepreneurs do.
This is what has to be done. Even as far as like things for the office were coming in. Luckily, my mother and my daughter were here because, like, things were coming in. I'm ordering stuff. Things are coming in.
Oh, okay, like your furniture.
Yeah, like my furniture. And, like, because we got to move. Because 2 weeks is not a long time in between.
Especially when you're talking about building an office.
Yes, we're talking about building an office, furnishing it, like, ordering my computers, making sure it's, comfortable for them to come in. That's not easy. So I'm doing all of this from Chicago. I come back and I'm pumped because I've learned so much from the agency owner perspective. But now it's like really time to, I was already grinding, but it's like really time.
It's go time.
It's go time. So, soon as I got my keys, when I did meet with my broker, he was like, go get the keys. Of course, I had to hand over that money. It's something about spending thousands of dollars at one time that makes me sleepy. So I had him the money orders. Now I'm sleepy, but I can't sleep because I got to keep going. And I know it's for a good cause. So I get my keys and I'm coming over here every day because I got to get my stuff in here. I have to get it right. And in 2 weeks, I start my third part. And I'm going to be there all day from 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So is that back in Chicago?
No, this is here.
Okay, so at least it was back in Atlanta.
Yes, okay. Because at one time Chicago actually used to be longer than 8 days. They cut it down some because it's costly. And you're spending so much money up there. They kind of feel bad if it's going to cut into your money with the agency.
Plus, you have a life back wherever you came from.
Yes, you do. Like, people have kids and stuff like that. I was fortunate that my daughter was older and I didn't have to be here with her. And my mother was here at the time. So that was a blessing. But if I didn't have that, like, it would have been even harder. So I come back, I go into my third part. This is the final part. So this one is pretty much, they want you to get your prospects and all of that stuff in order. Meaning when, quote them, because when you open, go ahead and write them. They have a policy. Okay. So now we're still learning agency owner things, but they're teaching you how to work in your business. And this is for a week. Okay. No, this is 3 weeks. I'm sorry. This is 3 weeks. So I'm doing this for 3 weeks. And I'm having people that I'm interviewing come to the corporate office and I'm interviewing them there.
Oh, wow.
So I would
get a word. You are serious. Like, I'm going to make this happen. Yes. No excuses.
No excuses because you have to open with 4 people. Okay. If you do not have 4 licensed people, you cannot open. Okay. It's no way. You got to think about the more you push to another month, money. It's a money thing. And now I have to pay more rent. I have to pay rent for spaces not being utilized. I have phones. They're on. They're going live. They've already asked me, when do I want to go live? I can't keep pushing it. I have computers. I have these people that have already said they're going to come on board. I can't push them another month if they don't have a job. Okay. Or if they have a job. People be ready to work. So I can't. So my interviews, yes, come to corporate. I would get a conference room and I would do the interview. And some of them would be like, well, I'm at work. I get off at 5 o'clock. Okay, well, when you get off at 5, come to corporate. Because I'm not leaving here and going to the office. So you can come here and we'll do the interview here. So in that 3 weeks, I'm still working. I'm working really hard to get this open. I'm hiring people. I'm trying to put them through binding authority so that they can, be binded with Allstate so they'll be able to write policies with us. So that's what that means. Now, this is the thing. When you are hiring employees, people are going to fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were once looking for a job. So if somebody comes along and they're paying more than what I'm paying, they're going to go with them.
Mm-hmm.
I can't knock anybody for wanting more money because I was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So while all this is going on, like 2 people are falling off. Like people are constantly falling off. I'm like, it's frustrating, but I got to keep going. I got to keep rolling. I got to keep interviewing people. I got to do what I got to do.
So you only need 4, but you're having to interview dozens.
Yes.
Okay,
you
to find the 4.
You only need 4, but you have to interview dozens because they have to have their qualifications. They have to have their property and casualty. They have to have Allstate binding authority. And that, at the time, was taking 2 weeks for them to get through that.
So Allstate was funneling you potential employees, but they weren't vetting them for those specific requirements, or?
No.
Okay.
So I have to, see that they can get through binding authority and all of that.
So wait, what's the process for binding authority?
At that time, because it's changed now.
Okay.
At that time, it was 2 weeks, and you could either send them to corporate and they could take it, or they could do it online.
So what is it, a test?
It's like a 2-week training of how Allstate systems work.
Okay.
And so ultimately there are tests and quizzes
mm-hmm.
involved.
Mm-hmm.
Now you also have to think, I am a first-time business owner.
Mm-hmm.
If I send them somewhere to work, I have to pay them. My agency's not open yet. I'm not generating any money. Don't let the fact that money is sitting in your account fool you, because you still have so many other things to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
You have so many other things to do. You don't want to walk in your doors completely in the hole. Because you have it doesn't mean you have to spend it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I send them, I'm going to have to pay them because that's time.
Mm-hmm.
If I let them do it from home, I have to give them a computer. So I'm giving out my technology. I don't know you. I don't know you. And I'm giving you my technology, and I don't know if you're going to fall through or not.
So did you have some sort of signing agreement?
Starting off, no.
Okay.
I had no signing agreement, and I didn't send any of them to corporate to sit down. They were all to do it online.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was cheapest for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'm not sending them to binding authority. And then like a couple of them had jobs. So they couldn't come during the day. It didn't go with their schedule. So, as soon as I was about to open, I was set to open June 1st. One of my people fell off a week before I was supposed to open.
You have been, your entire journey has been obstacle after obstacle.
Yes.
Okay, so how did you jump over this one?
So I'm like, how in the world am I going to get somebody that is not only licensed, but also has Allstate binding authority already?
Because that's a 2-week process.
Yes, that's a 2-week
and
process.
you're opening in 1 week.
And I'm open, yes.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sean Henry's Becoming. On this platform, we don't hurry our guests when it comes to telling their story. There are jewels offered in every episode that we want to avail to you, but we will respect your time. Although we know that you can stop, pause, and replay each episode at your convenience, we cap each episode around the 60-minute mark. Tune in next week to hear the conclusion of Sean Henry's Becoming interview with Bria Douglass of the Douglass Agency.